Hello there everybody, Sam'sTrains here and welcome back to Warley. This is the largest model railway exhibition I've ever been to in my life, and it's back open again for 2022 after quite a hiatus after COVID. So let's go inside and check it out. So we are in, and as you can see, the exhibition is just as massive as ever. There are tons of manufacturers here, we've got loads of layouts to see, so we're going to get some videos of all the different manufacturers. Already we've seen lots of different samples of new models that haven't been released yet, so let's get started, let's see what we've got. So I'm here at the Hornby stand. It looks as though they've got quite a lot to show off this year, so let's head inside and take a look. I think the big one that everybody's interested in has to be the TT range. So they have a complete layout setup with the Flying Scotsman train set running on it. So this gives us a great look at the A1 locomotive and also the Pullman coaches. They also had loads of the TT rolling stock set up on the layout as well. So we could see the vans, the open wagons, all of these fully tooled up with decorated samples on display. Those 12-ton tankers as well, they look absolutely awesome. The detail difference between 00 scale and TT scale doesn't seem to be that much at all, which makes the TT stuff look incredibly detailed. We can also see more of what the train set packaging will be like. Nice small boxes that should keep shipping costs down. They've got the accessories such as buildings on display, all of these samples at a very late stage it looks like. They've got the track also, which looks great. Really nice looking track system, quite realistic looking too. And honestly, I've looked at Hornby's TT range quite extensively online, but seeing it in person here is really quite different. At last you can get a sense of the scale, what the models are actually like, you can see what the couplings are like. Suddenly things seem much more real and tangible, and finally we get a sense of what the products will really be like. We've also got loads of other samples from Hornby. I think the notable one would be the Turbomotive sample. Looks like quite an early sample, but there's clearly a lot of metal on here. Another one would be the Ruston 88DS. Again, these are fully decorated now, so hopefully we'll be seeing these models quite soon. They're also showing this very early 3D printed Black 5 sample. I suppose I'm quite surprised that this is all the progress that Hornby have made on the Black 5, given how long ago it was announced. But maybe they have got more progress behind the scenes that they haven't showed yet. They also have this really lovely looking P2 on display. It is a confusing model to look at. I thought, is it a Hush Hush? Is it an A4? But no, looking at it properly, it is a P2 and it looks very smart as well. They're also demoing one of their new smoke units which uses pure water, and apparently it lasts up to half an hour approximately between refills. It's quite a convincing effect. We've also just been for a look at the Rapido stand, and there's quite a lot to see here. There are some models that we've already seen before, such as the Lion, but here are the samples and they look absolutely fantastic. Not decorated yet, but they do look like shots from the tooling, and the model's coming along really nicely. We've also seen the J70's tramway coaches. Again, in person, the level of detail just pops on these. I do wish I could show you them a bit more properly than I can through the GoPro, but hopefully it's only a matter of time before I can. They're also showing off their Hunsler Austerity tank engine samples. They've got their pannier tank there as well. Some of these models are actually running, so we can also get a sense of their performance, which is also fantastic. They've also announced quite a few new bits and bobs at Warley 2. I'm not going to cover all of that here, but the relevant ones I will talk about on the next model railway news video. But the notable one was the N-scale dynamometer. And you can see it here next to the 001. Look how much smaller this thing is than the previous Rapido dynamometer. Now I asked them, you know, what kind of detail are you going to get into these models? is the interior going to be as detailed as the 001? And the answer is, well, not quite as detailed, because obviously look at the size difference, but they say they are still putting some interior detail into the N-scale dynamometer, which I think will be quite unbelievable. I also popped into the Locomotion Models stand. Most of their models we've seen before, except for one, and that is the ES1 electric locomotive, which is coming soon. Apparently it's due to arrive in December, before Christmas, all being well. And these two are exclusive to Locomotion Models in the very fetching NER green. And now here I am at the Ellis Trains stand, where we can see some of their exclusive models. They are actually producing an O-gauge Wickham trolley, and I didn't necessarily realise how far along this project was, but sure enough, here they are, looking basically done, decorated samples. Now I'm used to seeing 00 scale Wickham trolleys. Let me tell you, this is something else altogether. They've got all that interior detail inside them. The motor is inside the Wickham trolley itself, not the trailer behind, so the trailer itself can be nice and realistic as well. The ultimate Wickham trolley in model form. I also got to look at and hold the new Ellis Clark Black 5, which is a very, very serious O-scale model. All metal, that boiler, metal, die-cast running plate, real copper pipe work on it as well, no injection moulding plastic effects there, all the real deal. Brass tender as well, and they also say thanks to the helical gears and the high quality motor that this can do an insane crawl as well. Fascinating to see how this new Black 5 model is shaping up. Didn't know Accurascale made one-to-one models. It's quite realistic though. Another massive part of Warley is the other exhibitors who are not manufacturers. These include layouts of all different shapes and sizes, some of them really interesting. For instance, this one showing off some of the very first diesel-powered rail vehicles ever to run in the country. Chloe is a bit more easily pleased than that though, because as long as a layout features cows, she's going to be sorted.
Cows?
Cows? You got a real thing about cows, haven't you? She's on the cows again. What? Sorry? No, nothing. I'm just taking in the ambience.
I got a picture.
Got a picture of the cows. What are you going to do? Just get home and look at them?
Send it to my mum.
Oh, okay. We've also just stumbled across Callum and his Amiens 1918 layout, which he's been waiting to exhibit at Warley for absolutely ages. You might recognise this fantastic layout from the Great Model Railway Challenge, but here it is at Warley for everybody to see. And it features some wonderful models, including some troop carrying wagons. Look at the detail in some of those troops. There's also possibly the smallest locomotive I have ever seen. It does work though, it runs on a tiny little coreless motor and it struggles on points a little bit, but it is a runner. There's also a rather unexpected guest on here, which you may recognise. It's not very fair on him really, is it? These are things he's not supposed to see. I suppose it's nice for the troops, give them something to smile about.
Troop morale.
Yeah, exactly. There's also a very special layout here this weekend, and I did not know this was going to be here, but I know a lot of people will be very interested to see this one.
So this is Farquhar Branch, which some of you might know the name from a certain TV show or books, but this was built by the Reverend Wilbert Awdry, who's the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine, Were the Talaflin Railway, the world's first preserved railway, and he was a volunteer with us in the 50s. This specific one is started being built in 1968, so quite old now. Wilbert wrote a full timetable for this. There's reason to every movement you see on the board, and we've also got his script commentary, which kind of explained everything that happened at the same time, which is why my voice is a bit dead, I'm afraid.
His passengers are asked to get out as Toby has some shunting to do. He has to clear the yard in preparation for a special due in 1610.
The first person was built in 1949, and it's still running on the same mechanism now. Obviously we've got Thomas the tank engine, the man himself. Wilbert built 3, because of course he did, in case anything went wrong at a show like this. Built probably 1982 using a Hornby Railways E2. He extended the side tanks, flattened out the back to closer match how he looked in the books. Well, this is what Thomas is meant to be, an E2.
Here we have the original Annie, created by the Reverend Awdry himself. This predates the TV series. I believe it also predates the books. This was created in 1928.
So the Talcotton Railway is in a little place called Tywyn on the northwest coast of Wales. The absolute easiest way to get there is probably by train. You can get on at Birmingham International New Street, direct train to Machynlleth.
Great, thank you very much.
No
Thanks for making it possible for people to come and see this.
Well, it means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to a lot of people out there. So yeah, thank you for coming and have a look.
Oh, no problem, thank you.
Let's finish off with some more manufacturers then. So as always, it's been a pleasure to see the chaps from Hatton's here at Warley. And the big draw to their stand was, of course, the Genesis range, which is all lined up in these cabinets, and I would say most, if not all, of the range, or at least the liveries, are represented here, and you can get a better idea of what these look like. I was talking to them about the teak effect on the GNR coaches, and they really have been able to get that process just spot on. Looks really, really wonderful. So thank you very much to Hatton's, and it's fantastic to see a few more of the Genesis coaches up close and personal. One manufacturer I was really looking forward to seeing here at Warley was Accurascale, and sure enough they did not disappoint. I've seen some Class 37 samples that look absolutely sublime. You've got their British Rail Class 92, again all decorated samples here looking really, really wonderful. We've got the highly sought after Manor class locos, which are currently still in production at the factory, but they are not too far away apparently. And you've got a whole load of other samples here of Accurascale's other projects, some rolling stock which looks absolutely immaculate in its level of detail, and quite a few other bits and bobs to see as well. Massive thank you to Steve from Accurascale for showing me what's what, and I tell you what, this next year of Accurascale releases is going to be pretty darn exciting. As usual, Dapol are here at Warley, and they've got their usual array of samples to show, 00 scale, O scale, but I have to say it was their Lionheart O scale, or 00 gauge, Linton and Barnstable 262 tank engines and the associated coaches that really stole the show for me. These things look absolutely tremendous. Obviously there were other samples on display too. I think the main ones for me have to be the Great Western City Top Light coaches. Just a couple of decorated samples here, but again it was just nice to see these in the flesh and get a little sense of what these models are going to be like. They also had a fully decorated and clearly working sample of Dapol's upcoming Class 59 in 00, and judging by the state of this model, that is definitely not far from arriving either. Another very exciting project. But honestly, it is the staff of Dapol that made this so special. So nice, so knowledgeable about their products, so willing to just chat and talk. Yeah, I love Dapol, love the people, love the products. Thank you very much, Dapol, for all you do.
This video could be called something like being born, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I really need to go.
KR Models are here at Warley as well. Now, back in 2019, when KR Models were first here at Warley, they had one loco to show, I believe. But now look at them, they've got a stand full of different models, including the Bullied Leader, a couple of different locos, the Fell is there, the GT3 is back. They've also got a sample of the Bellerophon, if I'm saying that right. Not seen that before other than in images, so that is a real first, isn't it? And of course they bought a full-sized piece of rolling stock with them to the exhibition as well, which is always sure to draw quite a bit of attention. thank you so much for joining me for the 2022 Warley special. Hopefully I've been able to give you just a little taste of the stuff that's been going on here. So much to see. I was here for both days and I still don't think I saw it all. But it was still well worth coming, and if in future years you've got nothing to do towards the end of November, Warley exhibition here in Birmingham, absolutely well worth it. Thank you so much to everybody who came up and said hi. I can't believe how many of you recognised me, came to say how much you like the videos. It's given me such a confidence boost really, just to hear from so many of you and just to talk to you and see the faces that I actually speak to every day without seeing. So thank you to you guys who did that. To everybody else who couldn't come to Warley, I hope you've been able to live through parts of this exhibition vicariously through the video, and if you can make it here next year, maybe I will see you there. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for another video. Cheers everybody, take care.
Just a bit awkward, isn't it, really? Don't know why I did it, but we did it, that's the main thing.